Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here, and today I'll be showing you how to make this really cool Amidala bracelet. This bracelet was designed by Suzanne HB, also known as Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram. I would definitely check out her page. She's always coming up with something new and they're always super cool. This bracelet here is reversible, so I just want to show you the back side real quick. I think it's super awesome. The sides are like a lot more raised than the other side, and then the pink is a little more down versus this side, which is the signature side of the bracelet. So it does take approximately 270 bands to create this design. However, I think it is worth it. So without further ado, let's get started. To make this bracelet, you will need one loom, one C-clip, and your hook. You will also want to have your loom set up like this in a staggered position with the arrows facing to the right of you, and I did remove the back bar pin because we only need 2. We'll be working with 8 pins. It's kind of hard to show you which ones, but it's pretty much this section here is what we're going to be working with. But just make sure that you have the opening about right here within about like the first 4 of them so that your bracelet can grow down. So we're going to go ahead and start placing the bands. The very first band, we're going to need to double cap it to place on here. So just go ahead with your fingers, stretch it out. I just cross it like that and put it back on my fingers. Then you can just grab it with the other hand and place it onto the pin. Now we do need this first band to be crossed like a figure 8 or infinity sign. So I lay it down and then I take the one side and I just pick it up and then I flip it like that to make that cross in the middle. If you can do that in one motion, you can certainly do so. As long as it's crossed like that, that's fine. So now we can go ahead and continue laying our bands. Everything we do on the right side, we're going to also be doing on the left. So now we're going to go on to our next color, which for me will be green. And we're going to lay it from this pin here to this outer right pin. And I'm going to twist that as well. We're going to twist the whole first layer. Well, not the whole first layer, but a couple of them. Now we're going to do the same on the left side. Twisting that on as well. Push your bands down a little bit. Now we're going to be going out from this pin here and we're going to actually stretch it out to these further pins over here. Now this one you do not have to twist. So just stretch that straight across, doing the same on the left side. So it should look like that. And now we're going to take another green and we're going to connect it to the first green on both sides. Oh, right there. So I'm going to start on my left and do that. And then do the same on the right like that. Push your bands down a little bit. And now we're going to do one of the first hooking steps. So what we need to do is cross the white band here over the green one so that it connects back over. So starting on the right side, just grab that white band, pop it off the pin, and just bring it over to itself like that. We're going to do the same on the left side. So just grab that white band and stretch it over to the left. Like that. And it does pull on that band. That is perfectly normal. Now that we've done that, we do need to add a cap band to these 2 pins right here, which is where the 2 greens connect. I'm going to use pink jelly. Now, I have a little bit of a hard time doing the cap band from behind, so I'm going to turn my loom just a little bit. And again, the cap band's going where the 2 greens meet, but it has to be triple looped, so it's a triple cap band. So I'm putting it on there once, twice, 3 times. Doing the same over here. Once, twice, 3 times. And it doesn't matter how you achieve getting the cap bands on there. You can use your hook, your fingers, whatever you need to do as long as it's capped. Triple capped, sorry. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to go ahead and do another hooking step. We're basically going to go in the cap bands here and bring the greens back to themselves on each side. So go inside this pin here, push back that pink cap band, grab the very top band, which is green, Sometimes I like to put my finger on the cap band so I don't lose it. And you're going to actually pull it down and back onto the pin that it came from. Like that. Doing the same with the other band on that pin. Going inside the cap band. Make sure you get through all of the bands. And pulling it down. Just like that. Go over to the right and we're going to repeat the same process. So you can go in, grab that top band, and bring it back down to itself. Go back in the cap band, grab the next green band, and bring it back to itself. Like that. So that's what it should look like right now. I do want to say that it may feel awkward like looping down. So you can also turn your loom around like this and go in the cap band and loop them forward. Like I said in the beginning, it really depends on your preference. I may play around with it a little just to see what's the most comfortable, and hopefully you guys will figure out what works best for you as well. But I just want to make sure you get down the basics so you can make this awesome design. So now that we've done that, we do need to add on our next layer, but first we have to loop this white band up and over. So go ahead, grab that very bottom white on the middle pins and just bring it over the pin. And do that on the right side as well. And I'm going to turn my loom around so you can see something. On this side, you see my two cap bands are connected. Every time we're done looping, before we go to the next step, you're actually just going to pop those cap bands off. And just release them, because they're already like connected. You're not going to lose any bands or anything. That's what makes the like cap band look in the middle of the bracelet. If you do forget to do that after each step, you're going to see that they start to build. Don't worry, you can just pop them all off once you do realize that they're still on there. Turning my loom back around, you should have all four of your greens on the front and then your whites are in the back here. So now we're going to go ahead and add on our next layer. So we do need to do that step all over again. So I'm going to take my white, we're going to double cap that again, like that, and place it on the middle. Now you actually have to loop this before we start laying our next set of bands. So just grab the two green on the bottom and bring that up and over. Go on the right side, grab the two green on the bottom and bring that up and over. Push that down, and now you're going to start to see where the pattern forms, and this is how we will continue to make the bracelet. So we're going to go ahead with our green, and from this pin here we're going to stretch it out and up like that. And now I'm going to do one side at a time. Instead of laying my green and then my green and going back and forth, we're going to lay our our right side, then we'll lay our left side, and then we'll just pretty much work it like that. So I've laid my green, now grab a white, and we need to stretch that from this pin here to that pin here, up like that. And just push it down a little bit. Grab your second green, and we're going to actually stretch it from this pin here to this pin here, like that. Going on to the left side, we need to do that same thing. So starting from this pin, we're going to stretch one green up. Now I'm going to grab my white and we're going to stretch that over, just like that. And now the last one will be our green again, connecting to the first green that we laid, like that. Now we actually need to add on our cap bands to these two pins here. So go ahead and lay those. Remember, it has to be triple loops. And just make sure they are wrapped around 3 times because that's what makes the look of the bracelet. Like I said, the first time, it doesn't matter how you get the cap band on there as long as it's tripled. So now we need to start doing the looping. So we're going to take our whites and cross them over back upon themselves. So just go in here, grab that very top white band, cross it over to the right. Coming on the left side, we're going to do the same thing. Grab that white and cross it over to the left. Now we need to bring our greens down. So the first time I did it with it facing this position, but I'm going to turn it around to show you in case it's easier. So with my loom turned around, let me just zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go into these cap bands. So I'm going to push this pink out of the way, grabbing the very top green. Hold on to your cap band if you need to. And I'm going to loop that forward onto that front pin. I'm going back into that same cap band, grabbing the next green and bringing that forward like that. Coming over to the left side, we're going to do that again. So just push that cap band out of the way, grab the top band and bring it forward. Go back in, grab the next green and bring that forward. So it should look like that. And I actually do feel like that was a little easier doing it that way. So if you lay them and then turn it around to loop, it's a little more comfortable. So now we're going to go ahead and bring the bottoms up and over back here since we're back here. So grab the 2 bottom whites, bring it up and over. Do the same thing on this left side. Grab the 2 bottom whites and bring it up and over. You can go ahead and actually turn your loom around and keep bringing the bottoms up and over. So on this left pin, we're going to bring the bottom 2 greens up and over. On this middle one, it'll be 2 whites. On this middle one, it'll also be 2 whites, and then 2 greens on this end. So we basically just brought all the bottoms up and over. And now go ahead and just take off those 2 cap bands and push your bands down. So we can go ahead and actually do that process all over again. So go ahead and grab your white. Remember, we got to have that double cap, so just twist it with your fingers and then apply it on your loom. And before we can start placing our other bands, we're going to do the hooking step one here. So on this middle pin, we're going to grab the 2 bottom bands, bringing it up and over, doing the same on the right side. Push those down, and now we can continue laying our sets of bands. So like I did the first time, I'm going to do one side at a time. So you can lay your first green, stretching up. Then we're going to lay our white, which stretches over here. And now I'm going to lay my green again. Oh, I do that a lot, sorry. The way you can know that you messed up is it should always connect back with that first one so that it makes that like upside down V. So now we're going to do that on the left. So we're going to go from the middle pin here up. With our white, we're going to stretch it back over to where the other whites have gone. And now last, we're going to lay our green again. So it should look like that again. And now we can go ahead and do the hooking step. So we're going to cross our whites over on both sides, like that. And now we have to, I usually actually do this first before I do the crossing, but now we have to add our cap bands on, because now we need to do the green. So hopefully by me looping the whites first, I hope that didn't confuse anyone. So make sure they're triple capped. And now we can go into the cap bands and loop the greens back to themselves. So I'm going to turn my loom around with the arrows facing to the left. I'm going to go inside this cap band here, grabbing the top band and taking it forward and to the right, going back in the cap band, grabbing the second band and bringing that forward but to the left. Coming over to the left side, I'm going to do the same thing. Grabbing the top green band, bringing that towards the left one, and grabbing the right one. So it should look like that again. And now you can go ahead and grab your bottom bands, which there's 2 of them, bring them up and over. Do the same on the left side. Go ahead and turn your loom around so that your arrows are facing the right direction. And bring the bottom bands up and over on all of them. I go from left to right. So grab the 2 greens on the bottom. And now the white. White again. And last 2 green. So now all of our bands are looped once again. Go ahead and pop off those cap bands. and push your bands down. So we're going to do that again. I'm just going to keep doing it a few times. Grab your band. We're going to double cap it. And it needs to go on the middle here. Before we start laying any other bands, we're going to go ahead and bring these 2 bottom greens up and over. Push that down. And now we're going to go ahead and start laying our bands again. So we're going to lay our green to the right. And now our white, stretching over to the right. And just make sure that white is always laying on top of the green right here. And now I'm going to do our last green on this side. So you'll always be laying 3 bands and then going to the left and doing the same thing. So laying my green. Now my white. And my green again. Now this is when I like to add the cap band on so that all my bands are laid and I don't forget. The last time I forgot to do that, so I do apologize. So grab your cap bands. They're going to go on the tips of our upside down V's is what I like to call them. So remember they're triple capped. Do the same on the left side. And sorry if I sound a little tired. I haven't been getting much sleep, so I do apologize about that. But back to the bracelet, we're going to go ahead and start looping. So the first thing we want to do, remember, is we need to cross our whites over. So we're going to cross that over to the right and do the same on the left. Now that we've done that, we need to loop our green. So I'm going to turn my loom around. And I'm going to go in the cap bands and loop them back to themselves again. Going to the right with that one, and towards the left with that one. Going on the left side, doing the same thing. Push the cap band out of the way, and loop them back to themselves, like that. Now we can take the bottoms off, so remove the 2 bottom white bands on each side. And now turn your loom back around, so we can remove all the bottoms on this side. So going from left to right, I'm just bringing up the bottom 2 bands on each one. So I know that it definitely can look super confusing when you first start, but I feel like once you do it a few times, it gets pretty easy to remember. So now we need to remove these cap bands because that's the last step you do. So now we're going to start with our bands again. So you just have to remember, because when I first started learning this design, I kept forgetting to add that white cap band. So just make sure that you're always starting with laying this cap band here on the middle like that. I'm just going to straighten mine out. Okay. So once again, I'm going to bring the bottom 2 bands up and over on this middle. And I'm going to lay my bands again, starting on the right. So it should look like that. I'm going to do the same on the left. Should look like that again. And remember, now we need to add on our cap bands, our triple cap bands. I keep forgetting to say triple. And now we can go ahead and start the hooking. So we're going to cross our whites over on both sides. We're going to turn our loom around. And we're going to loop our greens. So remember, you just push the cap band out and loop them back to themselves. And now we can go ahead and bring the bottom 2 whites up and over. Turn your loom back around. And proceed to bring up the bottom 2, up and over each of the pins. Now remember, the last step is to just pop those cap bands off of the back. Push that down. And there you go. So I'm actually going to continue doing this silently a couple more times to make sure that everyone catches on, but I'm just going to do it silently. I just messed up if you're following along. I want to start looping my green, and I didn't cross my white over yet. So if you're following along, please put that green back. And I really do apologize. Okay. So you should be on this side because we have to cross our whites over. Now I'm going to turn my loom around. Okay, so your bracelet should start to grow down the bottom like so. Just grab a hold of it and just start pulling it down. And it will continue growing out the bottom of your loom like that. So if you stretch it out, you can start to see the back side of it growing. And then here's the front side. It's kind of like in there, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's starting to form. So you can definitely go ahead and continue on with your bracelet. I'm going to go off camera and finish the length of my bracelet, and then we can come back at the end and close it up together. If you have not caught on to the technique so far, please feel free to go ahead and rewind the previous instructions to learn how to do so. I will be right back. Alrighty guys, so I did go ahead and finish up the length of my bracelet, so now we can go ahead and get it closed up together. Just make sure that your loom looks like mine. Basically, it should look like you need to start like your next layer of banding, except we're not going to, we're going to close it. So you should have 2 bands on each one of your pins. Make sure that they are all the same color, based on if we're using the color pattern I used. You don't want to have that white one in here. You can see that everything is all nice and looped already. So and the pins are taken off of the cap bands are taken off of the pins back here. So it should look exactly like that. And now we can go ahead and start closing it. Now what we need to do is get these 2 end green ones on top of these white ones back here. So for now we're actually going to take these 2 white ones, or green ones, and move them up here just as like a placer. So start on the left side, carefully remove those 2 green bands, and just put them in to the pin behind it. Do the same on the right side. We're just going to place them there for now. And now we're going to move our whites that are up here and just bring them down. So I'm going to start over here on my right. There should be 2 bands. And just bring them down in the front. Do the same on the left side. Just be careful not to lose any of your bands. So it should look like that. And now we're going to go ahead and bring the 2 green back on top. So just take them off of that pin and bring them back down. Doing the same on the right side. So now your loom should look like this. There should be 4 bands on your ends and then just the 2 on each pin in the middle. And now what we're going to do is just stretch 1 long band across all 4 of these pins. So just take 1 single band and stretch it all the way across, like so. And we're just going to bring each one of these bands underneath up and over. So the ends are going to be a little harder because there's 4 bands. So if you need to do a little at a time, that's fine. I usually start in here like this and bring over the green, and then I'll bring the white like that. And then I'll go on to the other side just to get the sides done. Bring those 2 over, and then those 2. If you can do them all 4 at once, that's certainly fine as well. So now we need to do the middle one. So just grab those 2 bottom, and you want to bring it over the pin like that. Doing the same to this one. Just bring it right over that pin. So now that we've done that, we need to now get all these together. So we're just going to grab the end here and bring that into the middle. Grab the end here, bring that into the middle, like so. And now we're going to take 1 more band, single band, and stretch it across these 2. And now we're going to bring these bottom bands up and over on that one. So there should be 2 of them. So grab those 2 bands, they may be a little tight, and bring it up and over. Doing the same on the right side. 2 bands up and over, like so. And now we're just going to take this right side and bring it over to the left. Or you can take it left to the right, it really doesn't matter. And now you can just slide your hook down in there, and we can pop on our C-clip. If you want to take it off of the loom, you certainly can do it that way. Once you have your C-clip applied, just go ahead and slide it out. And just give it a nice stretch once you pull it off of the loom. Locate your C-clip on the other side. And then on this side, just grab the white that was down here at the end in the middle. And you can just pop that on like that. And of course the train's going to go by. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, there you have the completed Amidala bracelet. I think it is just so super awesome. It is reversible. This is the signature side here. I have it upside down. This is the signature side here, which I think is awesome. But of course you can wear it on this wonderful side as well, which I think is awesome as well. It has like the more raised effects. But yeah, so this bracelet once again was designed by Suzanne HB, also on Instagram as Crazy Just Might Work. Please make sure you check her out and give her a follow. You never know what she's going to come out with next. All her designs are super awesome. Please also like this video if it helped you out at all. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button below if you have not done so already. So I do appreciate you guys watching my tutorials, and I'll see you at my next video. Bye!